Tuesday evening. This is the 2 Count. Hi, everybody. John Russell here with you alongside Big Ace. And our guest tonight, he is a Minneapolis comedian, also known as Mr. Self-Destruct. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Zach Ashton to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Not too bad, man. Not too bad.
So let's first talk a little bit about comedy and the fact that I know that you've been off for close to 3 months, like we have, right?
Yeah.
When was the last time you did a comedy show?
The last time I just this weekend.
Well, I mean, before that.
Before that was the one that we did together at Chris Cleveter's house.
Oh my gosh, that's
where
right.
Where we did a backyard extravaganza. It was like backyard wrestling, but
yeah, we did. It was very nice. Prior to that, though, for the last time I was at an actual real show was March 13th. How about you?
It was whatever night Acme closed up shop, because they did that one, and then the Monday night comedy show at the Spring Street Tavern.
So probably
same night. So those were open mics, but I mean,
so probably like the 15th, 16th, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds. It's so long ago. It's like another lifetime ago. Honestly.
I know.
So you did it. 3 months could feel so long, but
yeah. So you did a show down in Mankato on Saturday.
I did. Yes. It was good.
And
it just sucks that like places could only do, like we were talking about before we started here. It sucks that they can only do 50% capacity or whatever. I don't know if that's the city law or if that's the state law.
It's a state law. Yeah.
And then, so what does that mean for like certain venues? Say a venue holds like 5,000 people, you can still do a show with 2,500 people, or like what is that?
So there's the rules are a little bit different. Because I think there's a cap on the number of people that can gather at a certain place.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for like a smaller venue that doesn't hold very many people, like if you're paying actual talent, you can't, like Goonies won't open until the 11th of July.
Yeah.
And that's because there's any number of reasons anyway. Point being, it's just one of those things where, everybody is kind of trying to figure out what we can and can't do. So I have an outside show myself on this coming Saturday up in Maple Grove. It's at a golf course. We'll be booming our shit off the deck into the driving range where people will be sitting in their lawn chairs, apparently.
Oh, well, all right. There you go.
That'll be so. We'll see how that happens. But now, Race, let's talk a little bit about wrestling. Did you happen to watch the Raw episode this week?
I watched the Hulu edition because I don't have cable.
Oh, yeah, because it goes quicker.
I thought it was only half, because it's a 3-hour show, so I thought it was like an hour and a half, but it was actually still 2 hours.
Yeah, well, they cut an hour of it out, and to be honest, you don't miss anything.
Yeah, I hated when they switched them to 3 hours. I think 3 hours is too long for any wrestling show.
Well, like the Dynamite's only 2 hours, and it leaves you wanting more.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool, because that makes.
That's how the old Smackdown and Raw used to be as well. They were, the 2 hours and.
Yeah, the heydays, man, the good days. Yeah, man, it wasn't bad though. Like, okay, so we've been talking about Dominic Mysterio making his in-ring debut for a while. And they had their chance when he was doing the stuff with him and Ray and Brock Lesnar. I guess it does look a little better against Seth Rollins, though. But we're finally getting to see Dominic Mysterio, who still has an extreme baby face. And I don't mean that in the wrestling way.
Oh, he looks like he's a child still.
He really does, but he's like cute. Yeah. He's like a tall kid. He's big, weight like double. Like he's a man. It's just the face, but
it's because he's really Eddie Guerrero's son. He lost that. He lost that ladder match or whatever. I want Dominic. So.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
Oh.
Yeah. The interesting thing about it is I didn't know what they were going to do, and I was surprised when Aleister Black and Humberto came out.
Yeah, man, it was good stuff. It's going to be fun to watch Dominic and his dad team up. Because that's
now there was
added.
Yeah, there was a thing written today where apparently Ray said he would hate, in quotations, to have his last match be against Dominic. So I'm assuming
that's what
that's
his
probably
last
where
match is gonna be. He's gonna put him over.
Whenever.
Yeah.
So he'll be around a little bit. He'll probably help build Dom up a little bit, and then at some point they'll turn on each other, and that'll be Ray's retirement.
Means that this kid's gonna have to turn heel because Rey Mysterio can't turn heel. He'd have to be spitting on kids and.
That's what they said about Hulk.
Faces.
That's what they said about Hulk Hogan back in 1996 too.
Just take the mask off, then he can be in heel.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I mean, they have it laid out perfectly. Like, have them team up. They win the tag titles. They do that for a few months, and then eventually, like, Ray wants to retire, and Dominic puts him out. Like, it has to go that way.
Yeah,
it has to go that way
because you can only have so many plastic parts.
Pulls the mask off Ray and puts it on.
Oh my God! Dun dun dun.
That's lucha justice right there, baby.
And then he's got to wear his dad's mask for the rest of his life.
He just wipes his neck, throw his back on his dad. Screw you, Ray. Doesn't even call him dad anymore. He's like, screw you. They just go right to Eddie.
Screw you, Ray.
It would be great. It would be perfect.
Right, Chihuahua.
Yeah. And then so Charlotte's gonna be gone now for a while too.
Yeah.
That was the other good thing that came out. Ric Flair actually announced that, which was hilarious because it was like 5 minutes. Like, it was a very short turnaround. Like, she got attacked and he just came right out like, she's going to be gone, everybody, for a long time.
Hey, Bobby Heenan, the thing.
Back. She's coming for you tonight. Woo. Like, whatever. It's always cringeworthy now watching Ric Flair in a ring because he was loaded this time, though. So good for him. He's putting the weight back on. Hopefully he's not drinking again. Well, he never did stop, I don't think.
I don't think he did. I don't think the coma stopped him.
The only thing about that whole thing is, that and you know that I'm a fan of Asuka. It's like they can't let her win clean against anybody, and I don't understand why. You know,
well, it's because she had the streak for a really long time, so.
Yeah, but she hasn't won a clean match since Money in the Bank.
Oh, it's been that long? Oh, wow.
Wait, no, she won. It was clean against Charlotte, wasn't it?
No, because Nia injured her arm before they went out.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. That's right. I forgot about that.
So she had the tape on her shoulder, and I mean, you know, come on, man, be a fan, pay attention to the details.
No, I understand. I haven't watched any.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Ace.
Yeah, I haven't watched any. I stopped keeping up a while ago when they ruined a few wrestlers. They should have signed in like 2007, like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, and they were the best wrestlers in the fucking world. Like, if you go back and you watch that AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels triple threat match. I watched that not too long ago, and that might be one of the greatest wrestling matches I think I've ever seen. Meltzer gave it 5 stars. Oh, my God. But when they brought Joe in, and then they wrecked him, and they brought Shinsuke in and dressed him like a figure skater and wrecked him after they gave him the Rumble, which didn't make sense. There was a lot of fucky things that they did that I was just like, I don't think I need to watch anymore. I think it's over for me for now. Until something cooler comes along. I'm not sure what. I mean, I've been trying to watch AEW, but I don't have cable, so it's kind of.
You can watch a lot of those on YouTube. You know, the day.
Yeah,
after.
but they're like taken down, aren't they? Like
no, the AEW. You go and subscribe to AEW. They put all their shit up, dude.
Oh, they do. Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah,
I should watch that then.
That was an interesting. I noticed that they put out a Being the Elite today.
So here's the thing. It's very interesting. I found this out just before we came on, because I had put up a thing earlier today where they had pulled it. They didn't put it out, and Kenny Omega said, hopefully we'll be able to put it back up and do this again in the near future. Well, what the hell near future means? Like, we don't know when. And when I got home and popped on the TV, there it was, you know. and I found a news article that said basically what they did was, then they must have had it ready to go, but they had to figure out what they were going to do. There was no mention of Joey Ryan, of course, in this particular episode, but what they did do was they made a statement that they were going to go back, and they didn't mention him by name, but they were going to go and remove all the episodes where a serial sexual abuser appears. So they went and took all the Joey Ryan episodes of BT out. Now whether they edit them or not and put them up like that, or whether they just yank them, I don't know. But that's a lot of episodes.
Be interesting to rewatch all in right now and see if they've cut him out of that whole match now.
Oh yeah,
that Hangman stuff. Well, and I noticed it still had Sammy's name in it, which kind of not again. And we'll talk about it, but I mean, like again, I just the way they handled it, I figured they would have taken anything he did out of that as well.
Yeah,
but there was mention to him, so I mean, it is what it is. I mean, right now, and you had said earlier, and it's not just wrestling, like comedy that you said is experiencing this with the whole Chris D'Elia stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You said there was some more. Unfortunately, I haven't heard of their names.
Chris, but it all, I mean, the thing in comedy is a lot of times stuff comes out, and I think it's the same thing with wrestling. It starts small, and then when people say, "Hey, somebody's saying this," well, I can say something now too. I feel safe that I'm not the only one, and I can say something.
Right.
And it's very similar. There have been numerous statements about other comedians, and you know this, Zach, from the local local scene. It happens. There are incidents in the local scene that people don't know about, and a lot of times it's mentioned and nothing happens, and then when that person gets to be to a certain level of success or fame, then it comes back to bite them in the butt.
Yeah, it usually does. Yeah, once they start to succeed, it starts to come out. Usually. And
it's very similar to the way that the speaking out came in wrestling. It started as just somebody saying something over in England, and there was this, for lack of terrible puns, this wave that came across over here. And all of a sudden, there's all sorts of people that are named in wrestling. Mm-hmm. And in some cases, the promotions that these guys are involved in have pretty much immediately said, "We're cutting it off. We're done." Joey Ryan's the biggest one.
I mean, they're publicly traded companies. You know what I mean? Yeah. It'd be like if somebody who worked at NBC or Fox, they did it with some people. Some people not as soon as they probably should have, but
Oh, geez, Lawler, wasn't that a big deal? Matt Lawler, when he got kicked off.
Yeah, Lawler got it.
Yeah,
Bill O'Reilly is another one that took much too long, but I mean,
yeah. In fact, there's a movie about Fox News with the former Miss America from Minnesota, Gretchen. I can't think of her last name, but she was a commentarist or commentator, I guess is the word, on Fox News, and there's a whole movie about that. I think it's called Bombshell.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
but I mean, of course, that's a movie, but that it happened in reality. Of course, Jimmy Havoc has been cut from AEW.
Yeah, I have I can read through the list. There's a lot.
Yeah, why don't you?
And some of these people I'm not too familiar because it is a lot of people on the indie scene still, or promoters or trainers. Jim Cornette, Matt Riddle, Velveteen Dream. This says Darby Allin. I heard about that, but
there was something about Darby Allin. I didn't get to see any details, and this is one of the things. There are a lot of people have been named, but then you can't find details about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what did Cornette do? That's interesting.
What didn't he do?
Yeah.
Like the big thing that's coming out about Cornette is that he'd have the boys come over and bang his wife in front of him.
I mean, it's
In his defense, he stood up and like in his last podcast this week, he even said he's like, sue me for having an interesting sex life. Like, but
wow.
I think what it was though is he was doing it when he was a trainer too at OVW, and he was using that as like leverage to be like, well, if you do
But
that,
he definitely knows how big Batista's dick is, so he knows.
Yeah. Rumor is he knows Big Show too, so that's
imagine his poor wife, dude. His poor wife.
Right. Did I say Marty Scurll? Marty Scurll. The Knight family. So if you don't know who the Knight family is, that's Paige, WWE Paige.
Her whole family.
Yeah, the whole wrestling school they have over there, specifically, I guess her mom. Rich Cadlato, David Starr, Dave Christ, Martin Zaki, Sammy Guevara, Rob Feinstein, Will Ospreay, Chino Bafo Reyes. Some of these names are Dan Maff, Mark Haggerty, Kirk White, Aaron Epic. Again, a lot of these are either overseas or indie. Russell Payne, Chasen Reigns, Jimmy Havoc, Trent Seven, Mark Paz Perry, Wolfgang, David Lagana, Jordan Devlin, Jack Gallagher, Byron Wilcock, Joe Coffey, Congo Kong, Scott Davis, Justin Roberts, Bull James, Travis Barker, Legero, Kindred, Kamari, James Ellsworth, and Joey Ryan. That's the list.
James Ellsworth, man.
Out of anybody.
All right.
That's not a surprise.
It's not a surprise. He seems like the type.
What's not surprising, but it's like I mean, he's just such a weasel.
That's what I mean.
Right after the very first Jericho cruise a couple years ago, like literally weeks after it, is when his first story came out that he was trying to like get pictures of like underagers to text him and shit. On the boat, man, he was a creep.
Gross.
He looks creepy. So yeah, like you said, some of these names are going to be way more noticeable. Obviously, Joey Ryan's a big one because his career is over. I think it's safe to say. Bar wrestling in LA, no more. Any company working with him, no more. They're not selling his merch anymore. The guy's done.
Yeah,
there's no way he's coming back from this. They're just not. I was talking with Wes Briscoe today, and him and Wes were friends. So to talk to Wes about this and him be like, dude, and again, it's one of those things. This guy's whole gimmick was the king of sleaze, and everybody grabs his dong. That's his finishing move. So it's kind of like now, like maybe we all should have noticed when that was his go-to gimmick is that, he wants everybody to touch his penis.
Yeah.
But like Wes said, he was like, dude, like what? I can't even be friends with that guy now. Like that's just not right. And seeing all the stories about him and just how manipulative and just the things he was doing was just really creepy.
Yeah. Is it Zach Gallagher? Was that on the list? He's a WWE Jack Gallagher. He's like a NXT guy, right?
He was like NXT and UK. He was 205 Live. That's where he got it. Was 205 Live.
Okay. Oops. Yeah. So I know that they've cut ties with him. WWE has.
They've wiped his whole like existence off.
Oh yeah. No, but Jimmy Havoc likely will not come back. He's in rehab apparently.
Yeah.
So Sammy is.
Well,
Sammy.
I was gonna say, like, that's the thing is, so with the most of these, like you said, there's some names like Marty Scurll was a name that when it came out, I couldn't find anything on it to back up. Now, a few days later, it is sounding more legit. Darby Allin, like I said, I didn't even know that till now. I'm just seeing that name on this list. I must have missed that one somehow. And then like Sammy Guevara, because like you see all these names and you see the people speaking out who were the victims, and they're putting up the text message. And again, there's no reason to lie about that stuff.
Right.
There's really no reason to lie. So you kind of have to believe these people. So when you see what they're saying, it's horrible. But that's where then it comes into question on the culture and everything, because the majority of the people on that list, there's pretty good evidence out there to back up what they were doing, what they were after, like the Matt Riddle stuff, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for Sammy Guevara, there wasn't a lot. It literally was he just chose a very, very poor choice of word when he was trying to describe how much he thought he would love to bang Sasha Banks because she was so hot 5 years ago or whatever, however many years ago it was. So it's just, that's where you got to be careful. Like now that wrestlers, I'm guessing comedy wise the same way, people are like just quitting social media because
some people would, but I mean, if you're not a piece of shit, you shouldn't have much to worry about.
Yeah.
But I also understand, like, you know, the feeling that everybody really wants to get off social media lately. I think a lot of people are just over it. Like, I don't enjoy checking my Facebook. I think I can do about 10 minutes of it before I see some cringy, self-indulgent, woe is me kind of bullshit. And I'm like, I didn't give a shit about this. And then I think another reason is, it really only serves to trip you up. It can really only, it used to be a really great tool that you could use to like communicate with people. And now it's just a thing that I literally only use mine to like, I have a show coming up or I thought this meme was funny. Otherwise I post it and I leave. I'm like, I'm out. I don't give a shit. Like,
yeah, I'm the same way. I can take very little and I only go for very specific reasons for them.
Yeah, I'm over it immediately. So
yeah, like since April, I've just been like done, and it just gets worse every week. But so my thing is with Sammy Guevara, he's gonna have to go through sensitivity training. They're gonna have to, when he's done, like discuss if they want to bring him back.
He's such a small member of the roster. I don't really think it matters if, you know.
Yeah, I don't know, because he's really centered with Inner Circle, and that's a big thing too. So that's a big hit.
Yeah,
he was literally he and Hager were Jericho's right hand men. I mean, if you had that, it was one on the but
but
Sammy,
Jericho is so great. You could literally plug and play anybody in there, and it wouldn't matter. I mean, you could bring back fucking Tomko and just have him fucking do the same shit he did for Christian, and it'd be great. I mean, it'd be fine. You know, there's tons of guys out on the indies that you can hire right now. You could bring an old person like Rhino in. You could bring in new people.
Well, you know,
being used elsewhere. Like, you know, the fact that some of these guys are still with WWE and they just took the contract to not work or just get jobbed out from now till eternity. It's just like, wow, that was smart, wasn't it? You fucking idiot. Because you go to AEW and make like a ton more money. Either that or actually be utilized in a way that like makes fucking sense. So
yeah, that's the nice thing you're seeing now. In the last year, you're finally seeing WWE superstars be like, no, I don't want to renew. Like,
it's, you know, but some of them will resign just because WWE is going to give you so much fucking money to just stay home.
Dude, like Dan Bryan was a guy that I was like, I hope he leaves and goes back to the Indies. Like, that would be a great last tour for him. But that ain't gonna happen. You know, he's too.
It'll be interesting when CM Punk's money runs out too, what he decides to do, because everybody's always like, "Will CM Punk come back?" I'm like, "Yeah, when his fucking money runs out." I mean, you know.
Well, how old is he now?
44.
I mean, he's getting to the point where he can't come back.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, I mean,
and I don't know, maybe he's got a lot. Maybe he lives cost effectively, but I don't know. I would imagine he'd want to do one more big run for a big payout somewhere, you know.
Yeah, you would definitely think. And there was man, it really sounded like he maybe was going to do it when AEW very first started, but
yeah, there were a lot of rumors that he would come through,
but you know, I agree with you though. I think he will come back one last run eventually.
One last 1.2 million 8 appearance fucking contract,
and it'll be with AJ. She'll come back with him.
That'd be nice. See, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, why not? Some of this stuff was crazy though. And there are some people who have admitted to it, like Legero, who was WWE, I think NXT or something, or Cruiserweight 205. Like, he came out and basically admitted, like, yeah, this stuff's true, sorry. That Congo Kong guy, he responded to one of his accusations and was like, I thought we were friends. I was just ribbing you. And it's like, dude, you made the guy show you his dong and then stole his merch money.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of rib is that? Which, again, now that's the other thing with all this, though, too, is wrestling is an industry that in the 70s, 80s, early 90s, this was a norm.
It was carny. It was carny shit back then.
Fabulous Moolah was pimping out her girls. You know what I mean? Like, this is new. And hopefully this is that turning point in the wrestling industry. Because you've seen, like, especially like New Japan, the way they used to train people compared to now has gotten to be way more tame, because they used to just beat the shit out of them for like a month before they'd even train them to wrestle. And then on top of that, the hazing was god awful. If you read the Ring of Hell about Chris Benoit and his whole career up to when he did those horrific acts, it talks about some of the hazing he went through in New Japan back in the day, and it was awful.
Well, I mean, and then you got Edge's book and a bunch of other people too. Like JBL's a fucking creep. He got away with it.
Yeah.
Just because it's so long ago and he doesn't work in the business anymore, he should be fucking scrubbed.
Right.
Hey Jeff Hardy, let me fucking try and finger blast your ass. You know what I mean? That kind of shit.
It's amazing.
I mean,
people forget too that Vince McMahon had this happen to him in the 80s.
Yeah.
He had
and then the Ring Boy scandal in the 90s too, which was even worse, which was way worse.
Yeah,
Vince paid somebody off. I can't remember, and we were talking about this earlier. I can't remember whether it was I don't think they had female referees back then, but I can't remember if it was an announcer or somebody.
It was either a referee or a ring announcer. I almost want to say she was a referee.
But I don't think they had referees back then.
Had women's ones.
I don't think they had women referees.
She only had 2 matches before all.
She had 2 matches and then quit. No, I think there would have been a bigger deal if she was a prominent female referee or a female referee. No, I just don't think they had female referees.
And I mean, worse than that is Pat Patterson is the worst of all. He totally got away with it too. He didn't do a day in jail.
Yeah.
He was fucking full on Larry Sandusky and the boys, you know what I mean? And
it's
got away. And then Vince hired him back.
Yeah.
After he got away with it, he hired him back. And it was like, wow, that's fucked up.
It's such, like, again, the wrestling industry from back then and going through the years is such a dark industry. It really is.
Oh, it's a bunch of carny shit.
It's carny.
Totally. Yeah. Where it all started. Yeah, man, some of this stuff is crazy because, like, again, I know some of these guys. Like, I know Bull James.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, yeah, when that stuff came out, it didn't sound great, and you can't support that. So, unfortunately, like, we had to remove his podcast off of Wes and I's show. We had to remove anything that we did with any mentions we were doing when we were trying to get Joey Ryan on because they're buddies. Even the ring announcer Justin Roberts for AEW, like I've known him for many, many years, and I've with these things coming out, I guess maybe there are some things I've seen when I was around him once or twice that it was like makes sort of more sense now.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It really is just a crazy thing.
Do you think you guys are going to pull your Marty episode off too?
Yeah, I think we are. I think I'm going to actually do it right after we get off here. We'll pull Marty's episode. Again, I mean, it sucks. Talking with Wes, and he's friends with a lot of these, or was friends with a lot of these guys. Yeah. It's like, what do you do? I remember I was watching The Fighter and the Kid, a clip from them this week, and they are both like really close with D'Elia, and they were trying to like have their own reaction to it, and like they really couldn't say anything. They both were just like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
I'm hurt, I'm sad, and that's what it's like, for a lot of these wrestlers, seeing their people they've been working with get called out like this, and it's like, oh my god. Because then you have to address it. You can't just be like, well, but I know him and he was cool. Well, yeah, but when you weren't around, he wasn't cool.
Right. And I think, see, and that's the thing. I think wrestling and comedy are very similar in this regard. if you have somebody that you know and you're friends with or friendly with, and you can attest to this, Zach, a lot of people that we work with, we feel like we know, but we really don't know.
No. That's I was
like-
talking with Ira Ford about that literally. I don't know if it was last night or the night before. It might have been last night. We were just drinking and we were talking about that. It's like you have like 4 or 5 people in the scene who are like actually your friends and you know all about them.
Yeah.
Like you know where they come from and like what their life is, and then the rest of them, it's like you're friends, but you don't really
Not
know
really.
them. They don't really
Yeah.
know me. You don't really know them. You're sort of, it's like your coworker. It's more like coworkers.
Yeah.
But you have ones that you like and that you don't like. You know, obviously, like any other job. So there's that.
But that's the thing when something comes out about somebody, and this has to be the same thing with Delia's friends, right? Some of them probably knew it and were like, well, but the reality is you kind of you really then have to watch your step, because
I also think it's different when you're at that level of
absolutely
fame. I don't, the people close to you could be totally clueless because
but you have to watch your step, because you have to protect your own self. You have to protect your own career.
Right,
wherever it may be. And it's the same thing with wrestling, right? And so now you have
you're
probably
an independent contractor.
And you probably have people where you'd like to just say, what the fuck were you thinking, you goddamned idiot?
Right.
And yet but you can't say anything for fear that somebody's gonna think that you're complicit.
Yeah, I mean, if you know something illegal, you should take it to the proper authorities.
Yeah, well, definitely. But I mean, what I'm saying is
that situation.
But you know what I'm saying, though, right? If it comes out, and then you try to say something like you said, Ace, well, he was always a good guy when I was around him. Then now, are you being complicit, or are you just being stupid?
Well, I think you're more just making the statement of, wow, I really did not expect that. You know what I mean? I'm shocked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've had a couple people that I knew up here in the cities, and things come out about them, and you think like, well, it's hard because now I've heard a rumor, or it could be a fact.
Yeah.
I don't know, because again, you're getting it from just like another coworker, or I think, and then if it's true, normally the evidence of that comes out, and then the pile-on happens, and they tar and feather the person, and then that's all well and good, and the village will sing, and we will all dance in the streets as we tar and feather whoever the shitbag is, and everybody wins. But then there is no resolve, there is no evidence.
It just kind of hangs out there.
Yeah, and I just wish that we had more clear lines on these kind of things. Like there are things that are obvious and they happen, and somebody needs to face punishment for them, or if it's like I don't know, like if I'm hanging out with somebody and I make a joke, and I mean, I don't want that to be the end of my life, but I'm gonna try not to be a shitbag, but
right.
As long as you stay away from racial slurs, I think you're fine.
Yeah, right.
Well,
it's the big thing about all this, though, is, it's good that it's happening and coming out. It's good that these people feel that they can come out and be open about what they had to endure, what they went through. Especially when you look at the wrestling industry and the women's part of it, because back in the days, that was a very rough time, and it wasn't big like it is now. So a lot of these girls were coming into a legit man's world, and a lot of them had to go through a lot of horrible shit. And, it's sad to hear that now.
Yeah.
And to see that. So, it's just good that they're speaking out, and hopefully that can continue. And hopefully,
people should just try and like be normal when it comes to this kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like if it's really fucked up, it's really fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I would think, because it doesn't correlate to me. I'm like, you did what? Ew, gross.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah. that's
yuck, dude. Yuck. Like the Cosby thing. When I heard about the Cosby thing, I think that was That's the biggest one. That's one that he went to prison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think anybody thought he'd even get tried. Yeah, at first it was literally like he's not gonna go down for this. Then there's like a mountain of evidence, and people were still like, well, let's bring him on the Today Show so he can defend himself, and
He's America's dad?
he's America's dad, dude. And then I mean, when he actually got convicted, and that's the thing with this D'Elia thing, I haven't heard that they're bringing any charges as of yet, but certainly the evidence exists that they should, they can get those guys on To Catch a Predator for talking to decoys,
Yeah, most
and they put charges on them. They send them away up to 25 sometimes, depending on what state they get them in. So I think D'Elia should face some kind of criminal punishment that he shouldn't be able to get out of just because he's rich.
Right. Yeah.
And the fact is he probably will at some point.
Yeah, that was the weird thing about the wrestling part too, because when it first started coming out, a lot of it was like underage stuff on the British wrestling scene, and like there was people commenting, being like, "Yeah, but in London that's legal, 16 to the age of consent." It's like that's 16, that's still a child though.
Yeah, it's still fucked up, man.
Gross,
still super fucked up,
messed up if you're doing that still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
right.
But anyways, I think we should move off of this.
I think that's a good idea.
More power to all these victims coming out, and hopefully they can find peace and closing and all of it. So
let's talk a little bit about something that happened, something behind me. I want you to know, Zach, that the 2 Count as a company is going on the Jericho cruise, the triple whammy. We're going to head down there, and we've already got guests lined up to do live spots on the boat. So we're excited about that, and it's already sold out. I think it was open to the public for 2 days.
4 days it made it.
Was it 4?
Yeah.
The entire boat is sold out. If you want to go, you can still be on a waiting list.
That's great, man. That'll be really fun for you guys.
It's exciting, and in order for us to here's the thing. Ace has been on every single one that they've done, so this will be his third. This will be the first time that I've gone on it, and I have no idea what to expect. Well, I kind of do, but I really don't. And so to that end, what we're doing is we're asking for people's best Jericho cruise stories. And basically, we've got on Facebook, we've got a little bit of a link where you can go and you can download, whether it's through webcam or your phone or whatever. You got up to 4 minutes to tell us your greatest Jericho cruise story. And what we'll give you is a merch kit from the 2 Count, which includes a logo t-shirt and one of these fabulous ref counting shirts. But you can start uploading those on July the 1st, and the contest will end on July the 30th. So if you've been on the cruise, tell us a great story. If you haven't been on the cruise, you can find out what you're missing, I guess, right? Does that make sense?
That does make sense. It makes sense to me.
I mean, it's sort of sensible. But anyway, so we'll be doing that. And we also, if you want to buy shirts, we've had running down along the bottom here. We've got 3 different shirts. We've got a logo shirt that's just like the logo you see up there in the top right corner. And you can put that on any color shirt you want through our Spreadshirt shop, which the address is running down there at the bottom. Wow. We've got the counting. And we've also got one that's just the Count's head. That's probably closer to, and I might get rid of that, but I'll keep it anyway, just because somebody might want that instead of the referee. I don't know. They might want to get it for their little kid or something. Anyway, point being, you can get all of that at spreadshop. I don't know, whatever the hell it is when it comes down along the bottom there.
Some really long link.
It's not as long as it could be.
Yeah.
Shop.spreadshirt.com /the 2 Count.
Wow.
.com for me, bro.
Well, because we don't have our own website.
I know.
Concise.
You know, we'll have to do that. I mean, good God, how much is a
Reminds
website?
me of did you ever see the IT crowd?
Oh,
And
yeah.
they have a new phone number for the police, and it's like 0118-999-8819
Yeah, and then
9919-725-3.
three. That's one of the funniest shows, and I don't think a lot of people have ever heard of it.
I'm gonna have to.
That's true. Not enough people.
IT crowd, you have Ace?
I haven't. No, I'm gonna have to check it out now.
Oh my God,
You have to watch
they're all
it. It's really
they're
great.
all on Netflix. It's four seasons, and the seasons aren't long. I think there's 6 or 8 on each one.
Yeah, they're short. They're short. They're
And you
fun.
can get through it. But oh my God, there are some of them that are so funny. And here's the funny part about that:
Like an old lady fell down the stairs, and now she's got to like type that whole number in.
Yeah. But they tried because this is on the back of The Office coming over here and being very successful. As you know, that started over in England.
Like I've seen it on Netflix. Like, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that, and I've just never watched
dude,
it.
you need to start at the beginning and go all the way through.
I will do that this weekend.
And I mean, I'm telling you, but they tried to remake that over here in the U.S.
And it was
the only character that they brought over was Moss.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing it, and I'm like, they hit the pilot, and it's like, because it's not very British. It's very British, but it's also not. It's not as PC as comedies are here.
It's true.
All right, I'm gonna check it out.
You'll love it, and if you don't, I don't fucking care.
No, right? I don't care. Your opinion matters nothing.
It does. It does.
Well, okay, so let's get to an opinion section of this show, because
all right,
the very big news came out. This was it yesterday or Sunday? What's today? Tuesday. So Sunday night it aired, right? The last chapter of The Last Ride. So as of right now, Undertaker has finally retired.
Yeah, he's retired. He's retired.
So do you guys think it's for sure? Because the other thing too is when he ended the episode, he even said, he's like, I mean, I don't know.
Dude, Goldberg dropped him on his head in the middle of Saudi Arabia. That rung his bell, and I think Vince and everybody else begged him to close it out because their main event scene is trash, and they were like, we could sell some more tickets. And he's a company man, and he said yes, and now he finally gets to retire. Dude, he's got more money than fucking, well over 20 years of just solid at the top pay. He gonna be fine.
Oh,
I wouldn't come back. I wouldn't come back.
You know what's funny is that's exactly. I mean, I don't know did you watch that documentary?
I have not. I should though. I've wanted to, but
he says exactly what you said. That was the turning point in this whole 5-chapter documentary.
Yeah,
is the episode when he did the match with Goldberg and said,
yeah.
He said he's like 2 inches from making my wife a widow and my children fatherless.
Yeah, and also, fucking Goldberg couldn't work in his 30s. Why are they putting him in there with a national treasure in the fucking desert heat, and they're all sweaty and they can't hold each other? And I remember watching. I didn't watch that show because I had gotten really fucked up the year before, and I watched.
It took you a whole year to calm down?
No, I got really well. With how I live, I've never really calmed down. But there was the first Saudi Arabia show. It was like the greatest Royal Rumble ever, and I was like, first I was kind of mad because I was like, is this the Royal Rumble? They're gonna do a Royal Rumble, like. Because I was in and out of the product at the time, so I thought maybe this is just because they Vince likes to just add like super show to the end of things, change it like this much, and then just think it's fine, it's perfect. I've saved the day again. But anyway, I watched that first one in Saudi Arabia, and I watched the whole fucking thing.
Yeah,
and I said, never again, never again. It was like 6 hours long.
Yep.
Everything on it was trash. The only thing I was looking forward to was watching Jeff Hardy. he won, as I recall. I think he beat Jinder, which I was shocked by considering where they were. And it's just awkward. It's awkward to watch those Saudi Arabia shows with the princes and their fucking lazy boy chairs. Like, yeah, and it's
just put the disinterest in most of them.
And you want to talk about the sexual assault thing? I mean, this is America, where the grab ass bullshit is not acceptable, and we punish it. Saudi Arabia, what law? There are no female protection laws, and they're gonna go over there and work. So it's cool if they can scrub people from history or whatever, and that's the right thing to do if they're a sexual predator. But you literally are putting on shows for an entire country of like, they're not all sexual predators, but I mean, there's really no laws protecting women. You can pretty much, if you're married, put hands on her if you want. It's awful. It's awful what they're allowed to do.
And it's funny because I'm watching that documentary. Like, he talked about how he thought Undertaker was like, the Saudi Arabia shows were special to him because they were a big deal. I think he did 3 of them, and out of the 3,
had to.
2 were crap. It was gold.
2 were garbage.
And watching him, Kane, Michaels, and Triple H talk about the DX versus the Brothers of Destruction on that documentary was pretty entertaining as well, because they were just like, horrible. It did not work. Again, that was a really good series though. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. But yeah, the big thing is he supposedly has retired. The Boneyard was it. I feel that's a fitting way to go, especially too because that Boneyard really brought back some of the things that he debuted with, as far as like he was in a graveyard setting. There was caskets involved. The hearse was there. That mystique is what he came in as. So to have elements of that and elements of American Badass, and then to have such a great, just that cinematic match, because that compared to what they did with Orton and Edge was miles apart, and it was great.
Oh God, yeah.
And the Bray Wyatt and Cena stuff was cool, it was interesting, but again, like we said, not a lot of match or anything, to where that Boneyard thing was just amazing. So
yeah, and the reality is, in hindsight, when you see him riding off down the road, I mean, that's just like the cowboy riding off into the sunset.
It's great, but it needs something. Limp Bizkit jumping out, going, yeah, that's how
roll. I don't even think they're friends anymore, because remember Fred Durst was like telling everybody Taker was dying like 6 years ago, and Taker had to be like, I'm fine.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he was
hilarious.
He was at a concert, Limp Bizkit concert, and Fred Durst on stage was like, I want to spend some well wishes to my boy Mark Calloway. He's not doing well, everybody, and we wish him the best. There was nothing wrong with him. He was like, what the hell? Why do people think I'm dying? Oh, Fred Durst said this. Oh,
Freddie D. Right. People are still listening to Freddie D.
That guy. Anyways,
there's another guy.
Yeah. So now that if this is the end of Undertaker, though, I want to pick your guys' brains a little bit. Like, what is your favorite Undertaker moments? I mean, that's 25, 30 year career right there, Tony.
It is. It's a very long one.
He's Hall of Fame for sure this next time around. If you do the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestlers, there's no way he's not on there.
No, he's on it for sure.
And so
I think his 90s run. Thank God for his 90s run, because him and like in the new era, the new generation, he was like one of the only watchable fucking things that whole company had.
I'll tell you what.
So thank God for that.
Right.
I kind of feel like the one thing that WWE missed out on, and it isn't really their fault. It kind of is, but not really. Is how. For me, as an older guy, that I used to go back and forth with WCW and WWE, and I was because I grew up with Hogan and Macho Man and Piper, I was a WCW guy, and the one thing that we'll never ever get is Taker and Sting.
I know.
And now I'll say this: attitude era people don't give a shit about it, because it's like, well, fuck Sting. Sting. But for the other side of the coin, for the WCW people that are now and were at the time WWE fans, that was the one dream match that will never happen now. And like I said, it's not necessarily.
I was hoping they could do a crossover at some point, but they never would. With when it was Impact, actually.
Yeah.
And then you do Sting and Abyss versus Taker and Kane.
That'd be cool.
And that would have been fucking awesome. Like, oh my God, it's TNA. And they would never do it. But
to be honest, though, there might have been a chance of that happening if Sting would have never gotten hurt. Because
so here's the thing, though. I'll say this. It's mostly Sting's fault versus WWE's, because Sting forever just was like, fuck them. No, I don't want to have anything to do with them. Mm-hmm. And finally, when they came and knocking, and he said yes, I think they probably, I mean, and let's be honest, they shit on him from the day that they brought him in. They shit on Sting.
He also probably took a bath towards the end of being TNA.
Well, but the point being,
those checks probably weren't coming in like where he thought they would be.
I mean, but whatever. The point being, WWE shit on him when they brought him in. I mean, they shit on him from day one.
I wish that they would have. I wish that they would have had him job to somebody who wasn't a fucking 50-year-old fucking CEO now of the company.
Right.
I thought that was a bit much. It was a vanity project for Hunter. Just another one to add to the golden shovel.
But that's the whole point. That's the whole reason that WWE has problems.
Yep.
Is because when they have somebody like Sting, who could be putting over younger talent and building up this, which puts them in this position they're in now.
I feel like I'm in Night of the Roxbury.
I know, but but they don't use the talent that they have properly. And then when he got hurt, and then we got hurt with that match with Rollins. I mean, then there's no way.
They missed out too. Remember when they were doing those vignettes for Taker or for somebody coming back, and it was in the cabin, raining, and you can only see like the boots.
Yeah,
it ended up being Taker, but like it was so hot that it was Sting because they were talking then, and it was like they go the extra mile and sign it. Like you should have did it. You waited too long. Like you said, he came in. He did his thing with Triple H because, let's make it known that he isn't a WWE guy, and
right. I mean, and they never was. So I just,
and then, the Seth Rollins thing happened, unfortunately. And
Rollins either hurts himself or hurts everybody. Everybody's always like, God, Seth Rollins, greatest wrestler in the world. I'm like, fucking no, he's not. He's fucking not. He's either gonna break himself or he's gonna break you. You know what I mean?
Like, calling for his just at least a 6-month break for the last half of this.
And he's a douche. Like I wasn't even keeping up with wrestling. So hang on. But yeah, he was like a douche on Twitter. Like complete, like I was like, oh, all right, so you're a twat as well.
Yeah, it's funny, even with the stuff right now with him, Mysterio and the kid and all that, I still was skipping through the parts where Seth was giving his promos.
Oh yeah.
I still didn't watch that. Like I didn't
watch
all right, anyway, so Undertaker moments. What do you guys got? Like what are the ones that stand out?
The one well, to me it's always Hell in a Cell.
Yep, that's a huge one with Mankind.
That was another one for me. I think it was Survivor Series, maybe the match with Yokozuna casket match where everybody comes out and interferes, and they all collect. Like the whole heel locker room comes out, throws him in the casket.
Yeah,
wheel it halfway down, and then all of a sudden the lights go out and this thing starts smoking, and that was when he ends up on the screen. Like inside the coffin, the rest of Pia, then he like floats to the raft.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
like,
he goes, woo! Yeah. The other great one is when he comes back with Paul Bear. That was a great one.
Yeah.
With Kane but that was bald head Kane, which I wasn't a big fan of. I can get him being like, I don't want to work with this fucking mask on anymore, but.
Right.
We had a good compromise in 2001, you asshole, with like the Phantom of the Opera half mask where he's with RVD.
Yeah.
God, I love that tag team. But then, I was gonna say his other really great for Undertaker was his run with Kane versus the Power Trip and fucking all that shit with Stone Cold and Triple H.
Yeah.
Yep. And then he got roped into doing that shit with Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah.
And she was looking good, but that hair. What was she doing with that hair?
Right.
But yeah, man, that one kind of sucked. He had the arm in the cast. You remember?
Yeah.
So that, it has ups and downs, but
another one for me will always be his Hell in a Cell with Michaels when Kane made his debut.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
It's a great moment.
Kane pulled the door off.
Right. Yeah. That and then the both Michaels matches.
Yes. Yeah. The WrestleMania ones. Those were his last. Man, when you really look at it, should he hung up the boots then? Because he never got another match better than that Shawn Michaels wearing all white from the build up.
Right.
That was the last great match of the I can't think of another one after that where I was like, wow, what a great match.
I was at 26 when he retired Michaels, and like even that night I was like, this was a great match, but
they should have both retired. Should have been they both retired match. What's
funny is in that documentary, Michaels says he's like, yeah, I talked to him. Yeah, he tells me all the time he should have left when I left.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah.
That would have been the one. Either that or I would have used Taker the next year. I always said like the only thing I've ever thought to like book would be everybody always wanted a John Cena heel turn. I would have had him versus Undertaker year after the Michaels thing. Ref gets knocked down, hoopla, blah, blah. What? No, what? John Cena's got a chair. Boom. Turns heel, beats the Undertaker, ends the streak. And then he comes out the next night on Raw and he's like, listen, you can all chant Cena sucks now if you want, even the kids, because I don't give a shit. Because I'm going to be on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling and there's nothing you can goddamn do about it. So I ended the streak and I have more titles than Flair, so you can eat my fucking ass. I don't have to sell you Fruit Loops or give you T-shirts anymore. And then boom, you're off to the races with heel Cena. And I feel like you should have used the Undertaker to do it, and that retires the Undertaker. And everybody's like, "Oh, you killed a national treasure!" Before Bill Goldberg actually tried to fucking kill a national treasure. Just want to remind everyone.
While trying to kill himself in that match. Yeah. I'm gonna just run into this ring post, everybody. Get myself.
Yeah, dude. I mean, well, and then what? Didn't Taker drop him on his head as well during the tombstone? Did he go for a tombstone?
No, it wasn't. He was doing something that didn't go off, but it wasn't because of the Taker. It was because it was trying to pick him up for the tombstone, and Goldberg Goldberg was not cooperating.
Yeah, he was out. He was out on his feet.
He's and you gotta imagine you're in Saudi Arabia in like their summertime.
Yeah, scorching.
What are you thinking?
Right. Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. That is definitely a career, though. That I mean, like, it's even sad. It brings a tear to my eye hearing that he's going to retire and it's finally over. And just looking back at everything, it's like, man, again, like everybody thinks Hogan when you think wrestling or Austin
yeah,
man, you got to put Taker either up there with him or above him.
Yeah, he's just the cornerstone of the business. You know what I mean? He's like the cornerstone of the business. And
he was not necessarily the flashy guy all the time. He was the guy that was the backbone, though. And as they say, absolutely. The heart of the locker room.
Absolutely.
More than anybody else ever in that business.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because Hogan was clearly out for himself.
Yeah, Hogan's a piece of shit, dude. Hulk Hogan, the more old school wrestling stories you hear that come out, the more you're just like, God damn, Hulk Hogan is just a loathsome human being, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he really is. He's an awful person.
Well, boys, yeah. There's an hour.
Hey, we did it.
We did it. Again, we did it. Folks, we appreciate you hanging out with us. And typically you can find us. Go ahead. What?
All I was going to say is I love that we're going to end this show on Hulk Hogan's just an awful human being.
Yeah, dude, and that's how every one of these shows should end. You should just remind everybody, Hulk Hogan, real piece of shit. Have a great night, America.
Hogan, talk man, suck it.
I love it. Folks, make sure that you tune in with us every week. We'll be doing this at 8 o'clock. We'll have another guest on next week as well, hopefully. And stay tuned because we're going to start doing our old school reviews, and you're going to love those. And your Jericho Cruise stories. We want to hear those. Otherwise, we will buy a shirt from us.
Yeah.
Please buy a shirt from us.
Do you guys have any shows that you want to plug? Do you guys have anything coming up either?
Oh, that's right.
I got a thing in Red Wing this next week, but I don't really. It's not a big deal.
If you're there and you can find it.
Yeah, if you're in Red Wing, find my show. Don't ask me where it is because I have not found out from Nate yet. But I think it's the theater, so cool, I guess.
Right. Just drive around asking if they know where Mr.
Yeah, where's the show?
JR, what do you got? You got anything?
Sundance Golf Club on Saturday night. Jeff Foser is going to be the headliner. Ron Lamprecht's going to be the opening act. We've got D'Angelo Funches and Andrew Wegleitner on the bill as well. So come on up. That'll be outside. Bring your lawn chairs. And tickets are available at peakmn.com. So nice. that'll be that.
There you go.
Thanks, Zach.
I got Thursday will be the next Briscoe and Big Ace show.
Very nice.
We'll announce, Thursday, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. We'll do our next Briscoe and Big Ace show. Tomorrow, I don't know exactly what time tomorrow we'll announce our guest, but we have a really big guest.
Nice.
The hint I'll give you guys for here, just because I don't want to spoil it here because we're going to make the announcement, but he was part of Nexus when they took over Raw. So
very nice.
To be one of those guys.
I know who it is. I know who it is. I know who it is.
So
I guarantee I know who it is.
Oh, baby. We're going to have that go down Thursday. Check it out.
Excellent. All right, Zach, thanks so much for spending an hour with us. We appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks. Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. You have a great rest of your night.
You too. And everybody out there, thanks so much for watching. You've been watching the good old 2 Count. We'll see you again next week.
Later.